Welcome back. I'm Gabby Golf Girl here with Summer from PGA Tour Superstore. And we are going to be talking about irons today, the Roadshow Clinic series. Here we go. I would say let's get right into it. Like, number one thing I'm going to say with irons, height. That's the main thing. We want to get height. We want to be able to capitalize on an iron. I know how hard it is to hit them. I personally have moved to a lot of woods for my long irons because I just love height. That's the number one thing.
Right, you want to be able to stop it
Exactly.
and have a chance for a putt on the green, right?
Yes, exactly.
So how did you, with all of the choices, how did you decide on the 770s?
Yeah, so I was playing the P790s for a while, and I got fit, honestly, here, and they told me P770s was for me, and I needed a little bit more of a shot shape iron. And so, because I tend to hit, shot shapes with my irons. But again, I wanted to get height, and this head for me and my speed was the best to get the most height. P790s, I was hitting them a little bit low, just based off of my club speed. So I think the number one thing to start with is getting height with your irons, get fit here at PGA Tour Superstore to figure out what the club head for you is going to be that's going to get the most height.
I love it. I love it.
We're going to hit some shots and show you guys what I was talking about the height.
Let's see.
Let's
test it.
Here. This is definitely more height than I had with my older P790s. These are the P770s. And all we're focused on, without hitting up on the ball, we want to get height. And so we're going to try and hit this a little bit higher. I think you said a good point before, right, Summer? You said the club head speed should be pretty much what the height is.
Yeah, I know that wasn't your best, so normally I wanted at least the height of your club head speed. That's going to give you that stopping power on the green.
Like that one was really high.
So yeah, if we look.
That one was great.
Awesome.
And I always find when it's high, it's the straightest. And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm hitting it with the best strike, but.
Now, the three things we can be looking at too, when you come in and get fit, I'm looking at ball speed. So if we look at your ball speed here, we'd be able to say 5 miles an hour in between each of your clubs, right?
Okay.
So once we get to that 5 iron, but I know you have a 9-wood in the bag too.
Yes.
So we can test out a couple of things there because now we're increasing the size of the club head. It should launch higher than the 5 iron. So we could test that out as well.
Well, I think a good point is like the Kalea set has a bunch of woods and hybrids, and I think that tells you everything you need to know. Like I do, I have a bunch of woods, and it tells you that it's going to make it easier for you if instead of having a 5 iron or a 6 iron or 4 iron, just get some height and hit like a 9-wood. I have a 9-wood. It's my favorite. I think it's my favorite club in the bag.
Now, as far as ball placement here with your fairway woods too, where do you
like my ball placement?
Yes.
I go a little bit, I don't go front all the way because it's not a driver.
Because we're still hitting down on it.
Right, we're still hitting down on it, exactly. It's a great point. I'm like right inside. I would say like the club face is kind of like how much inside I am.
Okay. So that's another thing folks can do out there. Put alignment sticks in your bag. This is really important because it's really easy to kind of get out of whack when you're setting up. So I like this. You like about right there?
Yeah.
I think that looks good. Just to remind yourself where you want to stand.
Yeah, that's another thing, big thing. Like a lot of people put the
looks
ball
good.
in the back of their stance, and that's why they don't get any height. And so you don't want to be all the way out here because then you start hitting it left, and you're not hitting a driver. But you definitely want it to be towards the front so you can get some lift on it.
I'm thinking too, from hitting your iron, your setup does look a little bit different. So if I come and stand by you, it looks like you have just a touch more lean in the spine.
Yeah.
So what does that do for you?
Oh yeah, no, it does a big, it's really important. I think with irons, you're more stable and straight over the ball. But like most people, when they hit a driver, they tend to tilt back to get more height.
Love it.
Same thing with my woods. I do the same thing.
So if we're looking at this too, right? You can kind of feel that.
Yeah.
Right? Based on your speed, what works. Now, let's look at the Kalea. Now, same thing, 40-something grams, right?
Right.
So
Super
if you were just to walk in and hit these,
right.
How does that feel? Just your first
Super
even
light.
waggle?
Again, everything's pointed towards up. which is exactly what we want. And they have a 5-wood, not a 3-wood, so that you can get that extra height. And I don't see a major difference in my bag with a 3-wood versus a 5-wood distance. The only difference I see is that the 5-wood just goes higher, so I don't know why. That's why I don't even have the 3-wood.
And you might have that tendency too to creep that ball forward just a touch,
yes.
which is fine.
Yes.
Yeah, just keep an eye on it.
It's a little bit lighter, so it promotes me to just get up there. I think also, like, you know, it's kind of no fun when you're playing golf and you're just hitting it low or you can't get it up off the ground. It's way more fun if you can, even putting the ball on the tee, getting it up there, you know?
Oh, I love that you mentioned the tee. So my background is in teaching. So same thing, like if people are struggling, like just have them hit it off a tee at first, right? Just to get confidence. This game is all about confidence. Right. So use a tee. If you're out there and you're a beginner, please use tees.
Yes, it's great.
Awesome. Now, do you have any kind of swing thought as far as concerning tempo? I know we talked a little bit about, you know, I've heard the saying, steering is fearing when you're holding back. Yeah. So what is it you think about tempo-wise when you're hitting any of these shots?
Yeah, great question. I've always been a believer of, like, the slower I swing, the more it's going to give right and left, and it's actually going to have a negative impact on me. So I don't like to be like, oh, slow and kind of like tempo-ish. Right. I like to, you know, tempo on the backswing. We don't want to be super fast back here because now everything's going this way and you're going to go back this way. Everything gets thrown off balance when you're super, super fast on your backswing. But I do like to be tempo on the backswing and then rip it, because I find that the faster I swing at the ball, in between my feet, max speed should be in between my feet. When I get that, the accuracy becomes way tighter, the dispersion comes way tighter, and I have no fear. So like that's the best thing. Like if I tempo back and then rip it on this one, you're gonna see it go straight.
So just let it go, rip it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So is there any kind of swing thought you'd tell yourself if you feel yourself starting to tense up as well, like all of us do as golfers?
Oh, I do it all the time.
Right. How do you get back into your grip it and rip it?
When I practice swing, I think in between my feet is the speed, right? So in between my feet, max speed. When you see that club head speed number right there, that is right at impact. So you don't want max speed up here. You don't need to get speed from up here. It's only going to do the negative for you. So I just try and think fastest here, fastest down, not fastest up. Like you want to be slower.
Do you find compared to your shaft here that this lighter one is a little bit, like if we were to look at dispersion on here, do you feel like the heavier shaft is a little bit easier for you to control?
I like the lighter shaft. I actually think it's easier for me to have control over it. The only reason I have a little bit of a heavier shaft is because I'm hitting a little bit more crazier shots, but there's nothing wrong with going with something lighter so you can feel more confident.
So probably fair to say people should just get in and test it and see what's right for them?
Exactly.
Okay, that's fair.
I think golf is mainly about confidence, right? So whatever you feel the best in, that's what you're gonna do better with. It's gonna be hard for you to change and adapt. Like there, I ripped it, and that was a better swing, and I was not fearful.
So now if we look at some of these, we can look at long irons now and compare them. So if you were to just go in and say, pick up a set that had a 5-iron or a 4-iron in it, right? Yeah, let's see what's going on with your 6 and just see if it even holds a candle to the height that we want, right?
Yeah, I mean, I even actually thought of putting another wood in for my 6-iron. I had decided not to, because I thought it was a little bit much, but I definitely need something to, you know, carve out shots with, but it's just always gonna go a little bit lower than what my regular would be.
See, and now that you know that too, because we were looking at this last time, right? Mm-hmm. So a little bit lower land angle. Height's still all right, but not quite as much as maybe we would like, right? But it's just one shot.
Right. Also, you know, you don't really want to hit up on the ball. You want to just kind of be set up to hit it higher. So that's where I feel like the woods are just easier to do that with. Like that was a really good swing, but I don't think you're going to be able to control it as much as the woods.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. But again,
the height.
is it 1 out of 5? Is it 1 out of, right? Like
Yeah.
that height that you're looking for.
Yeah.
So what are some of the drills you do to teach yourself to hit down on the ball, as you say, right?
To get that more height.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I always say, like, I think a main problem that I see with everybody, beginners, you know, even like pro golfers, is like they always have a tendency to hit before the ball, right? And so even if you're at the range or you've got an alignment stick and you're out there and you see a divot pattern,
Sure.
for me, a divot pattern, you don't want the divot starting before the line. So if this is my alignment stick, the divot should not start back here.
That's
It
right.
should start in front of it. That's where you're gonna get the max height. A lot of
borrow one
people
of
think
these?
it's the opposite, and you're gonna wanna lift it up there.
So this is a great drill as well if you're working on attempting to hit down
Yeah.
on it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then you get immediate feedback, right? So we can
Right.
kind of put it, you know, and then you're not, so it forces you to come at it a little bit steeper, which
Right.
should create more spin,
Right.
and then that height you're looking for.
Yeah.
But if you get somebody who's a sweeper, you're right, they're going to nail this every time, right?
Right. I think the misconception is that height comes from this motion.
Sure.
And only on a tee, only with the driver. Everything else comes from actually the opposite. You want to hit down on it, hit the divot after the ball. If you could do that, you're going to get the max height. It's the opposite. I like to say golf is like a game of opposites because you swing out to in and you actually end up going right.
Right.
You swing
Right.
right, you get
Right.
left.
You hit
So-
down to hit up,
Right, exactly. You
Because
hit
you're
down
looking
to
right
hit up.
here, right? That divot's going to be somewhere back
Yeah,
here.
we don't want
right?
to be lifting on irons especially. We want to be hitting down because
Right.
that's going to cause the most spin and the most height.
Now, is that uncomfortably too close,
it's
or is
all
that
good.
okay? Okay, this is a great drill, so any of your folks out there that are sweepers, just put that behind. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you're just going to get more height that way.
Awesome.
Compression is a great thing, and it is the key to getting height because this is the misconception. All that's going to do is make it go all over the place.
So what were you thinking about potentially scrapping this with, since I'm looking at some of your data? And you're right, sometimes the height's there and sometimes it's not.
Right.
Sometimes you're not getting stopping power with the 6, right?
So
what were you thinking?
I was thinking either two options, going with a 9-wood and getting more loft, or see if, you know, there was a different, maybe a hybrid for me, I'm not sure.
Love it.
But I decided to settle on this because I need this, but.
Now, for any of the newer golfers out there too, we'll take a look at this. So 73 feet, still good, but yeah, we could compare and test them. So go ahead and hold up that 6-iron next to this, just that head. Look at that. So basically a 5-iron, right? Your 9-wood.
Right.
But if we look at the size of this head, look at the size of the chassis, by increasing the size for folks, they're going to launch it higher, right? So yeah, we can look at some options to get you to scrap that 6-iron.
Yeah,
You bet.
I think it's the key. Honestly, I think there's a bunch of variables. I think you can have the P770s, you either have the 790s, you have the Kalea line, you have the QI35 woods. There's so many different options to get height and to make sure that you feel confident. And that's why I come here to PGA Tour Superstore, get fit, and see, maybe I do need to get rid of the 6-iron. Maybe I need another wood or a hybrid.
Maybe.
Make sure that you check out PGA Tour Superstore's YouTube channel for the rest of the Road Show Clinic series.
Love it.